Throughout history, extraordinary objects have commanded extraordinary prices. From ancient artworks to modern real estate, from rare diamonds to historic manuscripts, the most expensive things ever sold reveal not just wealth, but human desire, historical significance, and the lengths collectors will go to possess the irreplaceable. These aren't just expensive items, these are record-breaking sales that redefined what people thought possible to spend on a single object. Some prices seem reasonable given the item's significance. Others defy comprehension, making you wonder what drives someone to spend hundreds of millions on something they could never truly own, only temporarily possess. This is 31 most expensive things ever sold, ranked by their sale prices and adjusted for inflation where appropriate. These sales reveal what humanity values most: beauty, rarity, history, prestige, or simply the satisfaction of owning what no one else can have. Let's explore the most expensive transactions in human history. Number 1. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi painting. In November 2017, Leonardo da Vinci's painting Salvator Mundi sold at Christie's auction house for $450 million, making it the most expensive artwork ever sold. The painting depicts Christ holding a crystal orb, and it's one of fewer than 20 known paintings by Leonardo. The buyer was reportedly Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, though this was not officially confirmed. The painting's history is remarkable. It was long thought lost, then discovered in a damaged state and extensively restored. Some experts question whether Leonardo painted the entire work or if students completed portions. Despite controversies about attribution and restoration, the sale price shattered all previous art records. The painting was supposed to be displayed at the Louvre, Abu Dhabi, but has not been publicly seen since the sale, adding mystery to its story. No artwork has ever approached this sale price, and it may remain the record holder for generations. Number 2. The most expensive yacht ever built. The History Supreme yacht, allegedly purchased by a Malaysian businessman, was reported to cost $4.8 billion. However, this sale is disputed and may be fabricated. The more reliably documented most expensive yacht is Azam, built for a member of the Abu Dhabi royal family, estimated at $600 million. Another contender is Eclipse, owned by Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich, estimated at around $500 million. These floating palaces include features like submarine docking, concert halls, multiple swimming pools, helicopter pads, and armor plating. They represent the absolute peak of luxury and engineering, essentially mobile private estates. The fact that individuals can spend more on a boat than most countries spend on infrastructure reveals the staggering concentration of global wealth. These yachts require crews of dozens and cost millions annually just to maintain. Number 3. Antalya, the world's most expensive private residence. Antalya, a private residence in Mumbai, India, owned by billionaire Mukesh Ambani, is valued at over $2 billion, making it the world's most expensive home. The 27-story building includes 3 helipads, a 168-car garage, multiple swimming pools, a private theater, and requires a staff of 600 to maintain. The building's cost reflects both luxury and Mumbai's expensive real estate market. Critics point out the contrast between such extravagance and surrounding poverty, making Antalya controversial as a symbol of wealth inequality. Despite its immense cost, the Ambani family reportedly does not live there full-time, preferring other properties. The building demonstrates that for the ultra-wealthy, primary residences can cost more than most corporations are worth. Number 4. The Pink Star Diamond. In April 2017, the Pink Star Diamond sold at Sotheby's Hong Kong for $71.2 million, setting the record for any gemstone sold at auction. The 59.6-carat diamond is the largest internally flawless fancy vivid pink diamond ever graded by the Gemological Institute of America. The buyer was Hong Kong jewelry retailer Chow Tai Fook. The Pink Star took 2 years to cut from a larger rough diamond. Its exceptional size, color, and clarity make it essentially unique. Pink diamonds are among the rarest in the world, and one of this size and quality may never be seen again. The price reflects not just rarity, but also the gemstone's perfection and the prestige of owning an incomparable natural treasure. For context, the price would buy dozens of large houses or fund substantial charitable organizations, yet someone chose to spend it on a single stone. Number 5. Paul Cézanne's The Card Players. In 2011, the royal family of Qatar reportedly purchased Paul Cézanne's painting The Card Players for approximately $250 million in a private sale, making it one of the most expensive artworks ever sold. The deal was never officially confirmed, but sources close to the transaction reported this figure. Cézanne painted 5 versions of card players in the 1890s. 4 are in museums, and this 5th version was the only one in private hands until the sale. The painting's importance to art history, Cézanne's work influenced Picasso and modern art generally, justified the astronomical price to the buyer. The sale demonstrates that certain artworks are considered priceless cultural treasures, and when they rarely become available, prices cease to have normal meaning. For collectors and nations building prestige, owning such masterpieces is worth almost any cost. Number 6. The most expensive car ever sold. In 2018, a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO sold privately for $70 million, making it the most expensive car ever sold. Only 36 of these cars were built, and they are considered the holy grail of car collecting. The specific car had racing history and provenance that added to its value. Ferrari 250 GTOs rarely come to market, and when they do, prices are astronomical. The combination of Ferrari's prestige, the car's beauty, its racing heritage, and extreme rarity creates perfect conditions for record prices. For car collectors, owning a 250 GTO represents the absolute peak of achievement. The price exceeds what most people would consider rational for a vehicle. But for ultra-wealthy collectors, these cars are rolling art and automotive history combined. Number 7. Willem de Kooning's Interchange. In September 2015, hedge fund manager Kenneth C. Griffin purchased Willem de Kooning's abstract expressionist painting Interchange for approximately $300 million in a private sale. The 1955 painting exemplifies de Kooning's energetic, gestural style that defined mid-century American art. The sale price made Interchange briefly the most expensive painting ever sold, though it was later surpassed by the Leonardo. The price reflects both the painting's art historical importance and the competitive market for masterworks by major artists. Abstract Expressionism represented American art's emergence as globally dominant after World War II, and de Kooning was among its greatest practitioners. For collectors, owning such works is about possessing cultural history, not just decoration. Number 8. The Hope Diamond's estimated value. While the Hope Diamond has never been sold in modern times, it resides in the Smithsonian. It has been valued at approximately $200 to $250 million. The 45.52-carat deep blue diamond has legendary history, including supposed curses and ownership by royalty. The Hope Diamond's value comes from its exceptional size, rare blue color caused by trace boron, and storied provenance. It was likely cut from a larger diamond stolen during the French Revolution. The diamond's fame adds value beyond its physical properties. If it ever came to auction, the price would likely exceed estimates due to its iconic status. Some objects transcend market value because they are culturally priceless, and the Hope Diamond represents one such treasure. Number 9. The New York Mets baseball team. In 2020, billionaire Steve Cohen purchased the New York Mets baseball team for $2.4 billion, setting a record for the highest price paid for a North American sports franchise at the time. The price reflected the Mets' market size, loyal fanbase, and valuable television rights in New York. Sports franchises command enormous prices because they are essentially monopolies in limited markets with passionate consumers. Ownership brings prestige, influence, and access to powerful networks beyond just financial returns. For billionaires, owning major sports teams is as much about status and ego as investment. The Mets sale demonstrated that in major markets, sports franchises are valued like major corporations, reflecting their cultural and economic importance. Number 10. The Codex Leicester by Leonardo da Vinci. In 1994, Bill Gates purchased the Codex Leicester, a 72-page scientific manuscript by Leonardo da Vinci, for $30.8 million at auction. Adjusted for inflation, this would be approximately $60 million today. The manuscript contains Leonardo's observations on astronomy, water, rocks, and fossils, written in his characteristic mirror writing. The Codex is the only Leonardo manuscript in private hands. The rest are in museums or institutions. Gates has made it available for public exhibition and digital study, sharing Leonardo's genius with the world while owning the physical object. The Codex represents Renaissance scientific thinking and Leonardo's extraordinary curiosity. For Gates, a technologist fascinated by innovation, owning Leonardo's scientific notes likely held special meaning beyond investment value. Number 11. Pablo Picasso's Les Femmes d'Alger. In May 2015, Pablo Picasso's painting Les Femmes d'Alger version O sold at Christie's for approximately $179.4 million. The 1955 painting is part of a series Picasso created as a tribute to his friend Henry Matisse after Matisse's death. The sale set the record for any auction sale at the time, demonstrating the intense market for Picasso's finest works. The painting's vibrant colors and cubist composition exemplify Picasso's late career mastery. For collectors, major Picasso works represent safe investments and cultural prestige. The painting's price reflects both artistic merit and market dynamics, where masterworks by recognized geniuses command seemingly unlimited prices from competing billionaires. Number 12, Amedeo Modigliani's New Cauchet. In November 2015, just months after the Picasso sale, Amedeo Modigliani's painting New Cauchet sold at Christie's for approximately $170.4 million. The reclining nude from 1917-18 exemplifies Modigliani's distinctive elongated style and sensual approach to the human form. Modigliani's nudes were controversial when created, and their rarity, he painted relatively few, adds value. The painting's sale demonstrated that multiple artworks could reach prices once considered impossible. The market for trophy artworks among the ultra-wealthy seems to have no ceiling, with prices driven by scarcity, prestige, and the desire to own certified masterpieces. For some buyers, the price itself adds value. Owning the most expensive Modigliani is as important as owning any Modigliani. Number 13, the British Crown Jewels value. The British Crown jewels housed in the Tower of London have never been sold and likely never will be. However, estimates place their value at over $3 billion collectively. The collection includes the Imperial State Crown containing the Cullinan II diamond, the Sovereign Scepter with the Cullinan I diamond, and numerous other historic gems and regalia. These items are priceless in the truest sense. They cannot be sold because they represent national heritage and constitutional tradition. Their value combines material worth with historical significance and symbolic importance. The Cullinan diamonds alone, if they could be sold, would command hundreds of millions. The crown jewels demonstrate that some objects are valued beyond any price because selling them is unthinkable. Number 14, Jeff Koons Rabbit Sculpture. In May 2019, Jeff Koons' stainless steel rabbit sculpture sold at Christie's for $91.1 million, setting the record for a living artist's work sold at auction. The 1986 sculpture is an iconic example of Koons' appropriation art, transforming a cheap inflatable toy into a highly polished monument. The sale demonstrated that contemporary art can command prices approaching old masters. Koons' work is controversial. Critics dismiss it as shallow kitsch, while supporters see sophisticated commentary on consumerism and value. Regardless of aesthetic judgment, the market has spoken. The buyer paid a premium for an instantly recognizable work by one of contemporary art's most famous names. The rabbit sale proved that in the art market, provenance, fame, and cultural impact can outweigh traditional notions of artistic skill. Number 15, the Washington Commanders football team. In 2023, a group led by Josh Harris purchased the Washington Commanders NFL team for approximately $6 billion, setting a record for any sports franchise worldwide. The price reflected the NFL's immense profitability, valuable television contracts, and the team's location in the Washington, D.C. market. Sports franchises have become alternative investments for billionaires, combining profit potential with prestige and influence. NFL teams rarely become available for sale, creating scarcity that drives prices. The Commanders sale demonstrated that major sports franchises are now valued like Fortune 500 companies. For buyers, owning an NFL team provides status, power, and access to exclusive networks worth far more than financial returns alone. Number 16, the Graf Pink Diamond. In November 2010, the Graf Pink Diamond sold at Sotheby's Geneva for $46.2 million, setting records at the time for any gemstone. The 24.78-carat fancy intense pink diamond was purchased by celebrity jeweler Lawrence Graf. The stone's previous owner was American socialite Bunny Mellon, who wore it set in a ring. Large pink diamonds are extraordinarily rare, and the Graf Pink's size, color intensity, and clarity made it exceptional. Graf later resold the diamond privately for an undisclosed amount, likely at substantial profit. The gem demonstrates how rare natural treasures appreciate in value as wealthy collectors compete for the best examples. Unlike manufactured luxury goods, truly rare natural diamonds have inherent scarcity that justifies astronomical prices to those who can afford them. Number 17, Chateau Lafite Rothschild wine bottles. Individual bottles of extremely rare wine have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. In 2018, a single bottle of 1869 Chateau Lafite Rothschild sold for $343,000 in Hong Kong. For extremely rare vintages from legendary vineyards, prices can reach absurd levels, especially in Asian markets where wine collecting has boomed. These prices have nothing to do with drinking the wine, which might be undrinkable after such aging, and everything to do with rarity, prestige, and speculation. Wine has become an alternative asset class for wealthy investors. The bottles often never get opened, instead being resold as collectibles. The wine market demonstrates how luxury goods can become pure status symbols disconnected from their original purpose. Number 18, the Oppenheimer Blue Diamond. In May 2016, the Oppenheimer Blue Diamond sold at Christie's Geneva for $57.5 million. The 14.62-carat fancy vivid blue diamond was the largest of its kind ever offered at auction. It was named after its previous owner, Sir Philip Oppenheimer, whose family controlled the De Beers Diamond Company. Blue diamonds are among the rarest colored diamonds, and one of this size and quality is essentially unique. The Oppenheimer Blue sale demonstrated the continued strength of the colored diamond market and the willingness of collectors to pay enormous sums for exceptional natural gemstones. The buyer remained anonymous, as is common in ultra-luxury sales, where discretion is valued alongside the objects themselves. Number 19. Edvard Munch's The Scream. In May 2012, one version of Edvard Munch's famous painting, The Scream, sold at Sotheby's, New York for approximately $119.9 million. Munch created 4 versions of this iconic image of existential anxiety. The sold version was the only one remaining in private hands, with the others in Norwegian museums. The Scream is one of art history's most recognizable images, making it particularly valuable. The buyer was reportedly American financier Leon Black, who saw the painting as an important cultural treasure. The sale price reflected both the painting's art historical importance and its iconic status in popular culture. Some artworks transcend the art world to become cultural symbols, and those command premium prices because they are universally recognized masterpieces. Number 20. Mark Rothko's Orange, Red, Yellow. In May 2012, the same auction season as The Scream, Mark Rothko's abstract painting Orange, Red, Yellow sold for $86.9 million at Christie's. The 1961 painting exemplifies Rothko's mature style of large, luminous color fields intended to evoke emotional and spiritual responses. Rothko's best works command enormous prices because they represent the peak of abstract expressionism and because relatively few are available for sale. Collectors respond to their meditative quality and their importance in modern art history. The painting's buyer reportedly did not attend the auction, bidding by phone and making the purchase seem almost casual despite the astronomical sum. For some collectors, spending nearly $90 million on art is merely a transaction, not a life-changing decision. Number 21. The Phoenix Suns NBA team. In 2022, mortgage billionaire Matt Ishbia agreed to purchase the Phoenix Suns NBA team for approximately $4 billion, representing one of the highest prices paid for any sports franchise. The sale included the WNBA's Phoenix Mercury team and reflected the NBA's strong economics and the Suns' market size. NBA franchises have appreciated dramatically in value over recent decades as television contracts and international reach have grown. Owning a team provides prestige, influence in the sports world, and often political connections. The Suns' sale demonstrated that even mid-market NBA teams now command multi-billion-dollar valuations. For billionaire buyers, the purchase price is less important than the status and access ownership provides. Number 22. The Complete Bay Psalm Book. In November 2013, a copy of the Bay Psalm book sold at Sotheby's for $14.2 million, setting the record for any printed book sold at auction. Printed in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1640, it was the first book printed in British North America. Only 11 copies survive. The buyer was reportedly American businessman and politician David Rubenstein, who has purchased several important historical documents to keep them in American institutions. The Bay Psalm book's significance is both religious and historical. It represents the beginning of American printing and publishing. Its price reflects extreme rarity and foundational importance to American history. For certain collectors, owning artifacts from the birth of American culture justifies almost any price. Number 23. Basquiat's Untitled Skull Painting. In May 2017, a 1982 untitled painting by Jean-Michel Basquiat depicting a skull sold at Sotheby's for $110.5 million, setting the record for any American artist at auction. The buyer was Japanese billionaire Yusaku Mizawa, who shared his purchase on social media. Basquiat's meteoric rise from street artist to art star before his death at 27 created a legend that drives extraordinary prices. His work speaks to issues of race, identity, and power while demonstrating raw artistic talent. The skull painting's fierce energy and cultural significance justified the price to collectors who see Basquiat as one of the 20th century's most important artists. The sale also reflected how the art market increasingly values contemporary and diverse artists, alongside traditional European masters. Number 24. The Qianlong Dynasty Vase. In 2010, a Chinese Qianlong Dynasty porcelain vase sold at auction in England for $83 million to an anonymous Chinese bidder. The 18th-century vase had been sitting unnoticed in a family home for decades before they decided to sell it. The astronomical price reflected Chinese collectors' desire to repatriate cultural treasures. However, the buyer never paid, and the vase was eventually sold privately for an undisclosed sum. The incident highlighted issues in the high-end auction market where winning bids don't always result in completed sales. Nonetheless, the vase's value, whatever the final realized price, demonstrated the importance wealthy Chinese collectors place on reclaiming artifacts from China's imperial past. Nationalism and cultural pride drive these purchases as much as aesthetic appreciation. Number 25. Salvator Mundi Private Island. Some of the most expensive real estate ever sold includes private islands purchased by billionaires seeking ultimate privacy and luxury. Lanai, Hawaii's sixth-largest island, was purchased by Larry Ellison in 2012 for approximately $300 million. Other private islands have sold for similarly staggering sums. These purchases buy not just property but complete control over territory, absolute privacy, and the ultimate status symbol, owning an entire island. For the ultra-wealthy, private islands offer escape from public scrutiny and the ability to create entirely personal domains. The prices reflect scarcity. There are only so many islands available, and the buyer's willingness to pay premiums for geographic uniqueness and isolation. Owning an island represents wealth beyond merely having money. Number 26. Giacometti's Walking Man Sculpture. In February 2010, Alberto Giacometti's bronze sculpture, El Hom Qui Marque I sold at Sotheby's London for $104.3 million, setting the record for any sculpture at auction. The 1961 work depicts a striding figure in Giacometti's characteristic elongated, existential style. Giacometti's sculptures capture post-war European anxiety and human isolation in distinctive visual form. Major works rarely come to market, creating fierce competition among collectors. The Walking Man sale demonstrated that sculpture could command prices approaching paintings by old masters. The buyer remained anonymous, which is common for ultra-expensive art purchases where discretion is valued. For collectors, owning iconic sculptures by recognized masters represents cultural investment and prestige. Number 27. The most expensive apartment ever sold. In 2019, hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffin purchased a penthouse in New York City for approximately $238 million, setting the record for the most expensive home sale in the United States. The apartment spans the top 4 floors of a skyscraper with views of Central Park. Ultra-luxury real estate in cities like New York, London, and Hong Kong commands astronomical prices because it offers more than just housing. It provides status, security, and location in the world's most powerful cities. For billionaires, these purchases are relatively small percentages of their wealth. The apartment serves as both home and trophy, demonstrating success through real estate. In major cities, prime real estate has become an asset class for the global wealthy, driving prices beyond connection to actual housing value. Number 28. The Codex Sassoon Hebrew Bible. In May 2023, the Codex Sassoon, the oldest and most complete Hebrew Bible, sold at Sotheby's for $38.1 million, setting the record for any historical document or manuscript. The 1,100-year-old manuscript was purchased by former United States Ambassador to Romania Alfred H. Moses, who donated it to the Museum of the Jewish People in Tel Aviv. The Codex represents extraordinary historical and religious significance as a foundational text of Judaism and Christianity. Its age, completeness, and condition made it essentially priceless to those who value religious heritage. The buyer's decision to donate it to a museum demonstrates that for some collectors, the purchase is about preservation and public access rather than private ownership. The sale price reflected both material rarity and spiritual importance. Number 29. Most expensive violin ever sold. The Lady Blunt Stradivarius violin sold in 2011 for $15.9 million, with proceeds going to tsunami relief in Japan. Made by Antonio Stradivari in 1721, it's considered one of the finest violins in existence, named after one of its previous owners, Lady Anne Blunt, granddaughter of Lord Byron. Stradivarius violins are prized for their sound quality, which many believe cannot be replicated by modern instruments. The combination of legendary craftsmanship, historical provenance, and functional superiority as musical instruments creates extraordinary value. Musicians and collectors compete for the finest examples. The Lady Blunt sale demonstrated that functional objects can command prices rivaling fine art when they represent the absolute peak of craftsmanship and have irreplaceable qualities. Number 30. The Green Bay Packers' unique value. The Green Bay Packers NFL team is uniquely structured as a publicly owned nonprofit, making traditional valuation difficult. If it could be sold, estimates place its value at approximately $4 to $5 billion based on comparable team sales. However, the team's structure prevents any individual from owning or selling it. This represents an alternative model where a sports franchise is community-owned rather than a billionaire's toy. The Packers' structure prevents the team from moving cities and ensures local control. While not technically sold, the Packers' estimated value demonstrates that even small market teams are worth billions. The team's unique status also shows that some things are valued precisely because they cannot be bought. Community ownership creates different kinds of value than individual ownership. Number 31. Historic auction houses themselves. In recent years, prestigious auction houses have themselves been sold for enormous sums. In 2019, Patrick Drahi purchased Sotheby's auction house for $3.7 billion, taking the 275-year-old institution private. Christie's, the other major auction house, was purchased by French billionaire François Pinault in 1998 for approximately $1 billion. These purchases buy not just businesses but cultural institutions that define taste, authenticate masterpieces, and control access to the world's most valuable art and collectibles. Owning an auction house means controlling the marketplace where billionaires compete for trophies. The prices paid for auction houses themselves demonstrate that in the world of ultra-luxury, the infrastructure of selling can be as valuable as the objects being sold. Control over these institutions means influence over the entire high-end art and collectibles market. So there you have it, 31 of the most expensive things ever sold. These astronomical prices reveal what the ultra-wealthy value most: uniqueness, beauty, historical significance, and the satisfaction of owning what no one else can have. What's striking is the disconnect between price and practical value. A painting provides no shelter. A diamond performs no function. Yet people spend hundreds of millions because these objects represent achievement, status, and the human desire to possess the extraordinary. And the record prices keep climbing. What sold for $100 million a decade ago now sells for $400 million. Future sales will likely shatter today's records. Which sale shocked you most? Do these prices represent cultural preservation or wasteful excess? Share your thoughts in the comments below.